Hello, everyone. Welcome to webinar number 18. We would love you to be active today, so feel free to say hi in the chat. You can also write where you're from, what's your job title, what are you doing in the gaming industry, so we know each other better. And today, we are deconstructing 3 top sort puzzle games together with our special guest, Oxana Fomina. And the topic of today's webinar is why players pay, the psychology behind retention and monetization. But before we dive in, here's a 1-minute ad. This webinar is brought to you by Balancy, a LiveOps and monetization platform built for gaming teams who need to move faster and grow revenue more predictably. Today, we will be talking about studios like Grand Games, Loom, Rollic. These are hybrid casual publishers who know a lot about LiveOps, but here's what all successful studios and titles hit: that moment when LiveOps stops being just a basic content calendar and becomes a multi-layered operational burden. And suddenly you've got dozens of player segments with different behaviors. New offers and events need to be launched yesterday, not in 2 weeks. And your team is drawn in manual work. And this is where Balancy helps. It's the platform that lets you add events, offers, and experiments to your game without releasing a new build every time. And my favorite feature, these are a favorite feature by our clients as well. These are templates, reusable configurations that can be quickly saved, reskinned, and deployed across one or multiple games of your portfolio. Imagine you have a successful battle pass or a special offer. You can easily save it and reskin later and scale it across your title or multiple games, which will save you weeks and sometimes months of development. Big publishers sometimes create big template libraries, or as we call them, packages, which help them to move much faster. And we are proud to work with such leading companies and publishers like Lion Studios, Amber Notes, and Quali. These studios use template packages to ship faster, test smarter, and scale LiveOps without scaling headcount. All right, let's move further. And here's our lineup. My name is Julia. I'm the head of growth at Balancy. Michael Hripin, my colleague, is a product owner at Balancy. And today we have a very special guest with us today. This is Oxana Fomina. Hi, Oxana. Great to have you here.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. Oxana Fomina is a monetization and LiveOps expert. In 2017, she founded Gradient Universe, an analytics company that helps game developers improve game profitability through LiveOps strategy optimization. And during the time of her work, she has developed a very unique analytics approach, framework for improving games LTV through special approach of analyzing psychological behavior patterns and game economy. Oxana, just in a few words, what is so special about your framework?
First of all, I think I focus on understanding the whole system that identify the highest impact opportunities for sustainable growth. And my approach is deeply data-driven. And I use structured analytics framework to understand player behavior and what drives monetization, engagement, and retention.
Mm-hmm. So it's deeply data-driven, and I think that that's very important for maximizing LTV of any title.
Yes.
Oxana has recently published a new article. It's been featured by Pocket Gamer Biz. And in this article, she deconstructed 3 top sort puzzle games: Magic Sword, Need Out, and Pixel Flow. And even though these titles are of the same genre, sort puzzle games, they have very different strategies and very different triggers for monetization. And we thought that this article deserves much deeper conversation, and we invited Oxana today here to the studio so we can discuss it in more detail, and you can ask her questions directly. So again, I remind you that we have a chat. Feel free to ask your questions there. And at the end of the presentation, we will have some time for questions and answers, and we will try to answer all the questions that you have. And now I will hand over the microphone to Oksana. Oksana?
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone, again. And welcome. Thank you so much for being here today with us. Before I start this presentation, I want to ask you one question. Why did you come today? Can you please write your answer in the comments? So the most common answers is in any webinar will be learn something new, understand better, figure out new ideas, etc. And those are the real answers. But I want you to go one level deeper. Your need is not really to learn. Learning is a tool. Your real need is what the learning leads to. So, for example, if you work in a gaming company, the knowledge that you will get today can help you make better decisions. Better decisions can lead to better results. And better results, it means that your company grow and you start to be much more valuable employee for your company. And exactly this already leads to recognition, promotion, income, and security. So if you are founder of the company, the insights you collect from events like this build your confidence and confidence that you are making the right choices in the industry that changes every month. Nobody does anything just because. We always have a reason, a need underneath. And here is the key idea I want you to carry through the whole session. When a player opens your game, they are doing exactly the same thing. They choose your game from thousands of options because it satisfies something they need to feel. So look at those three games. Same mechanic, same genre, same platforms, but absolutely different results. Magic Sword have 43 million downloads. Knit Out has 6 million downloads, and Pixel Flow has 21 million downloads. But when we look at the revenue per download, the order completely reversed. Magic Sword earns the least. Knit Out earns nearly twice as much per player, and Pixel Flow earns more than twice. How does a game with 7 times fewer downloads earn more per player than the market leader? And this is the question we are going to answer today. So, and the answer is not in the mechanic. The answer is in the emotional need each game was built to satisfy. That one decision which needs to serve and that shapes everything else. The difficulty curve, the events, the pricing, the triggers, everything follow from it. In mobile games, there are several fundamental emotional needs that drives engagement and spending. They are not unique to puzzle game. You will find them everywhere. So players rarely come to the game to satisfy just one need. A single game can satisfy several emotional needs at the same time. And different mechanics, systems, and LiveOps events can support different player motivation. So today, to make it easier to understand, we will assign one primary emotional need to each of the 3 games we analyze. Each of those games has one dominant emotional experience, one need that shapes the core gameplay and makes this game feel different from the competitors. All three needs, and often even more, can exist in the every game, just in different proportions. What matters most is which emotional state become dominant. And this is especially important during the first hour of the gameplay. Because the player's core emotional experience is usually formed very early. So, number one, comfort and relaxation in Magic Sword. The player wants to feel calm. They want to switch off. They want to progress without much effort. Number two, competence and mastery. In Knick Out, the players want to feel skilled. They want to prove they are good. They want a challenge that they actually overcome. Intensity and pressure in Pixel Flow. The player wants to feel their decision matter. They can handle it. They want tension. The challenge makes victory feel more meaningful for them. Those are not marketing segments. Those are emotional states your game either produce or fail to produce. Here is what it makes practical. Each needs create a completely different path to payment. In a comfort game, the player builds habit, gets frustrated when it breaks, and pays to remove the frustration. They are paying to escape discomfort. In competence game, the player invests in improving, reaches a win, and then pays to continue that feeling of progress. They are paying for confidence, not frustration. In a pressure game, the players have something to lose. When they are about to lose it, they pay to protect the momentum. They are paying to preserve what they built. Same genre, three completely different psychological triggers. And as we will see, the timing of those triggers and how well they match the emotional state the game creates determines whether a player will pay or churn. And this is something I see very often when analyzing in LiveOps and monetization system in games. Teams sometimes focus on offers, rewards, or event mechanics in isolation. But usually the bigger question is, what emotional state are we monetizing? Because the same trigger can work extremely well in one game and completely fail in another. Let's start with comfort. Comfort is a very specific in the game. It's a flow with visible progression. Levels resolve without real tough. Players never feel rushed. Sessions feels like a break from the day, not from performance, not a performance. This is why Magic Sword has 43 million downloads. This mechanic reaches everyone. It is the widest funnel in the category. People who play may not be serious gamers. They are people who want 10 minutes of the piece during the day. And that is actually a strength. But it creates a very specific product challenge. Let's look at the difficulty curve. From level 1 to 18, 0 failures. Players are flying, they are in the flow, and habit is starting to form. Then at level 19, the first real difficulty spike. The spike breaks, and immediately a spend prom appears. Then there are streaks event. The game asks players to win a certain number of levels in a row. but the difficulty system randomly breaks the streak. The event is asking for consistency. The game is providing inconsistency. Those two things are starting fighting each other. The player does not feel challenged. They feel taxed. That is a very different emotional response. This kind of misalignments is one of the most common things in LiveOps systems. A team launch an event expecting engagement growth, but the core progression system is quietly working against it. The event is not the problem. The system around the event is. And as a result, Magic Sword has the lowest revenue per download of the three, despite having 7 times more players. The monetization model is frustration removal. Players pay to skip a level when they are stuck. That works, but it creates a price selling problem. Now let's look at the competence. Knit Out does something very deliberate with its difficulty curve. There are 3 clear phases. Phase number 1, from level 1 to 14, 0 failure, clean onboarding. Players learn the mechanic through success. Confidence is building. Phase 2, 2 failures at level 15, then a long recovery valley. Then the main peak at level 29. This is the game testing whether the player is serious. And phase 3, from level 35 to 50, completely fail-free again. The player has proven themselves. They passed the test. They are now in a mastery mode. And this where the magic happens, when the player is at their high confidence. He received an offer. The offer fires after a win, not after the loss. And think about this, and what does that matter? The player just overcome a challenge they work it for. They feel capable. They feel good about themselves. And at that exact moment, the game offers them something to continue that feeling. This is investing. It's in progress, not paying for escape frustration. Then the battle pass appear. That identity drives a day 7 to day 30 retention more than any event system. And also they give a chance for the users to buy ad removal for $12, the highest in the category, because Knit Out audience actually value uninterrupted experience enough to pay for it. The key insight: Knit Out's players pay because they are invested, not because they are frustrated, and that produces dramatically better lifetime value. Now, the most interesting case, intensity and pressure. The highest revenue per downloads have a Pixel Flow, $4. Pixel Flow has 35 fail-free levels. This is the longest clean onboarding in the entire study across 10 games. Not because the game is easy, it's not. It's because pressure only works after investment. By level 35, the average player has spent nearly 15 minutes in the game. They know the mechanic. They have a rhythm. They care about what's happened next. Then at level 36, one spike, one real wall. At level 36, the player thinks, I almost had it. Let me try again. That is the difference between fair pressure and unfair punishment. Pixel Flow monetization is designed around that one moment at the level 36. First, the fail offer appear, and it's called fair offer 1. And there is Fail offer 2 for repeated failures at the higher price. That is escalation monetization. It captures players at the different level of frustration and willingness to pay. Then golden pass appear at level 36 exactly when the player hits the wall. It increases the player lifetime count from 5 to 8. The timing is not coincident. And also what is great and I like about the monetization of this game, the ultra bundle for $35. This is a deliberate whale capture. And this level of the monetization performance rarely comes from individual features. It usually comes from system alignment, progression, emotional pacing, offer timing, live ops, and behavioral triggers all work together. When one piece is disconnected, revenue usually underperforms. So now we get to the most important part. Why is the same mechanic produce completely different results? Magic Sword and Pixel Flow both run streak events. The mechanic is identical. Win levels in a row, get rewards. Same design, same format. In Pixel Flow, streak events are one of the highest converting LiveOps mechanics in the game. Players like them. In Magic Sword, streaks events accelerate charm. Why? Because context is everything. Pixel Flow players have 35 fail-free levels before the spike. When a spike event runs, they feel capable because they have been succeeding for some time. When the streak breaks, they mentally are ready to pay for the mistake to save the streak. Magic Sword players hit a spike when the streaks break, and when the streaks breaks again and again, each few levels, they think this game is unfair, I quit. The mechanic didn't fail, the context failed. Everything we looked at today follow a single chain, and this chain applies to every genre. First, player needs, then core mechanic, then monetization trigger, to LiveOps event, and back to core mechanic. At every step, there is a question. Does this decision serve the emotional contact you made with your player? Or does it break it? When the chain is aligned, like in Pixel Flow or Knit Out, everything works together. When one link is wrong, the whole system underperforms. So here's the 5 questions I want you to take away from today. Those are things you can ask about your own game if you want. What emotional need does your game satisfy? Can you describe it in one sentence? Second, where does your first difficulty wall land? Is it before or after level when your players already start to form a habit for returning to the game or for spending? 3, how long is your recovery zone after each spike? If it's less than 5 fail-free levels, you're building fatigue. 4, what emotional state does your spend prompt appear in? After a loss, after a win, those produce a very different response. 5, do your LiveOps event match what your call loop has prepared players to do? If the event requires streaks, but the difficulty breaks streaks all the time, you have a broken foundation. This slide is a quick reference. 3 games, 3 approaches, 3 results. Let me give you 5 things I think will be useful for you to remember from this session. First, define the emotional need before anything else. Every other decision follows from it. Second, difficulty is a monetization decision. When your wall lands determines where players pay. Third, recovery zone drives spending. The easy period after a hard level is not a dead time. It's where the habit and willingness to pay rebuild. Fourth, your spend prompt must match the player emotional state. Post-win confidence and high-stake momentum loss both convert well. Random frustration does not. Fifth, audit your LiveOps against your core loop. The same event can drive revenue in one moment and create a churn in another. The mechanic is not the variable, the context is. In many games, growth opportunities are already there. They are just hidden inside the player behavior, progression, and event timing. That's it from me for today, and I will be happy to answer all your questions.
Thank you, Oksana. This is a very insightful presentation as always, and I'm sure there has been a lot of screenshots made because this is usually what happens when Oksana reads a lecture live at some conference or event. People are photographing everything. But don't worry, guys, if you need data from this presentation, you will get a recording of this session today, so you will be able to return to it and make more screenshots. Yeah, we will now go into the Q&A session. But first of all, Mike, you've watched this presentation, and what's your take on it? I will remind everyone, Mike is a game industry veteran with more than 25 years of experience running live games at big gaming companies. So I'm really curious what was his impression and what thoughts he had during the presentation.
Thank you so much for this introduction. I hope everybody knows who I am, but anyway. So I have a couple of questions, right? Let's use them to as an icebreaker for this Q&A, because we have lots of questions in the chat. So I will not take too much time for that. But what I would like to ask you, Oksana, first of all, about this recovery zone mechanic, because many clients, our clients, have this problem. They create casual levels in huge amounts, but how to structure them? This is the question. So your audit question mentions less than 5 fail-free levels as insufficient recovery. Did you derive that number from these 3 case studies, or is there a broader data set behind it? Mute.
Sorry. I have to say that I forgot to tell it. So this presentation was based on the data that I collect from Sensor Tower. And Sensor Tower have a play liner as a part of it. And they they analyzed 10 games, hyper-casual games, and analyzed the difficulty curve, offers, user experience as non-paying, paying players and paying players. And these recommendations based on this data and previous data that I have from casual games. But I should mention that each game is unique. You have a very unique game with a unique experience, and you need to see how the users goes and progress through the games, through the levels, and at what moment it will be the best to give the hard levels for them, and how we can monetize these hard levels in that moment with which offers. So I think it's more question about what your player experience in your game and how you can improve this experience through the analyzing the data that you have about the passing the levels, about the user experience when they churn, when they're more engaged, and so on. So I think it's approximately data, but it's like temperature in the room, you know.
Mhm.
But based on the hyper casual games, this data based on the 10 hyper casual games that we analyzed.
By the way, if we're talking about data, there was a question in the chat from Artyom. He asked, I think it was one of the first slides with the data about revenue, and he asked, this is the US only data, right, for both downloads and RPD?
It's I believe it's worldwide.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so worldwide. Okay, let's return to the Q&A slide. And I think we will start with questions in the chat, right, Mike?
Let's go through a few questions from the chat, and I have another one. I will just break a little bit next time.
Okay. I think I will be jumping in with questions because I am not in the chronological order, because I think this way we will structure more, let's say, logical conversation. There was one question from Hoa from Vietnam. It's a technical question, so I will ask it first. It's about what is LiveOps event in your definition? So because I think if we answer this question, we need to answer it in the beginning and then start a discussion about LiveOps events and all that stuff.
So it's a live event that have a limited in the time. So it should be, the duration should be several days, or a lot of it depends on the event, and it's finished. And when it's finished, you cannot participate in it. And it's a part of the game, but it could be with similar mechanics, or it could be absolutely different mechanics. For example, some PvP have the same mechanics that have a core gameplay. Some PvP could be absolutely different. And for example, like mini games inside the casual games. So for me, this is a live event. If it's determined and in duration, and the user receive the reward specifically from it, and cannot and to progress, he may progress in core loop to progress in this event, but also it can be a separate event.
Mm-hmm. And I will just add that usually they have the goal to increase either retention or monetization or both. That's why they introduced
yes, also or give the players different experience, and sometimes many companies, big companies actually, they try new features by creating an event, and they look how it performed. Does it increase engagement, retention, and monetization? How the users react on that, and after that they decide will they have a full feature inside the game or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as a LiveOps platform representative, I can also add to the definition that usually these are, let's say, new features in the game, which are remotely configured. So they are added to your game remotely. You don't need to rebuild the game. These are very flexible things that you can switch on, switch off, change, adjust. It's like a new layer of features on top of your main game. And now let's move on to other questions. Definitely Hailitin's brothers are the stars of our chat. Today we have a lot of questions from them. By the way, hi guys. So the first question from Alex. How about a cohort of the players? Do these games have different target audiences? I think this is two questions.
As far as I know, no, but we never know exactly because we cannot track different experience from different accounts. You need to have this special system. But I know that a Play Runner, they check this stuff, and few weeks ago they added the features that you can see the segmentation, and they show how the segmentation for how the different segment of the users receive different events, same events, but the target could be higher. The price for the offers for this event can be different. So I'm not sure that in hyper casual games they already do this. We need to ask them, but definitely the big games, they do this.
And one more question from Alex. How to define which trigger fits your game specifically, or how to choose between them?
It's very depends on the user behavior inside your game. You need to understand user behavior of your players, how they behave, and at which moment they feel more confident, in which moment they ready to leave the game. So the triggers based on the data, you cannot figure out it. Yes, we have like triggers after the level when they don't have enough the currency, when the player achieve level number 2 or 10, I don't know. But it's usual way how we do this. But if you want to do it smarter and earn more revenue on that, you definitely need to understand your player behavior inside the game through the data.
One more question from Dmitro. What about monetization type? Does Magic Sword have more ads monetization than in-app purchases if compared with Pixel Flow, or them both earn money mostly from ads?
Unfortunately, we don't have such direct information from the sensor tower, but I think that both games may they do some money from the more money from the ads than in-apps, but I'm not sure. Unfortunately, I didn't see.
That's in general the problem of all these analytics platforms. The market analytics platforms, they usually do not provide ad data. Although this is changing. I think in some platforms I've heard they are trying to add ad revenue as well.
Guys, let me comment on this as well.
Yeah.
I think the whole presentation is related only to in-app purchases because we are talking about something that we can control.
Yes.
We can motivate players to make purchase like reasonable spend. We can control, we can manipulate them somehow. But ad revenue, usually in most cases, based on interstitials, on banners, or just ad removal. This one-time purchase, basically.
Yeah.
Remove it, that's it. So imagine that ad revenue provides you some base level of income, which you can improve by smart in-app monetization. And here we are talking about how to make this in-app monetization more smart.
Thank you.
Okay, next question. It's from Alex again. Why does Need Out have fewer players if it can get more revenue? What is the reason?
Good questions, but I think it's more for them. It's not for me, because sometimes it's money. Like they can have a specific budget for the game. They may still be on the phase when they check different channels and try different advertising to understand what works better for them. It could be many answers, but I don't know exactly which answers is closer to the real situation in this company, because I don't work for this company, and even I work, I will never tell. So I don't know. Unfortunately, some questions on some questions, the only answer will be given from the real team who creates it and who manages.
Yeah, makes sense. The next question from Philippe, and I see it has actually been already answered by Mike in the chat. So how long does it take for a player to complete 35 levels when the monetization starts? So as we understood, the monetization starts at level 35. So Michael answers that on average, it's about 1 minute per level.
Yes, it also depends on the game. For example, for my first session for Magic Sword, I was absolutely hooked. I didn't recognize how much time passed, and I finished my first session at level 60. So yeah, I was absolutely hooked. I wrote it to the owner, like, I know how to improve your game. Do it better, I will play more. So in general, yes, we can take 1 minute, but for some levels it could be even more. Depends on the level structure. But in that case, I think it was for Pixel Flow 35 levels, so it was almost 30 minutes.
The next comment, I'm not sure it's a question, but let's check. Compare the best practice and cases versus our hypothesis and scenario. To be honest, I don't remember.
No. It's the answer to Oksana's question, initial question, why he came here today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for for commenting.
We have a couple of other answers up there, so you could chat about this as well.
Yeah, they were in the beginning, and then I just didn't get it because this comment happened much later after the question started. Then the next question from Sasha: how exactly do you define the emotional need? Is that what the game is designed around in the first place?
I think that most game developers don't think about the emotional need of the users. Usually it's a usual situation for the life. And for example, if we speak about it's close to me, maybe not too close, but we send our children for some additional classes, for example, for the painting or for the football. And we do this for different reasons. For example, if I send my son to the football to learn how to play football, it means that I think that he have a great possibility to achieve a higher results there, and or I just want him to do some sport that he like, or I just want he not sit at home with the mobile. So I have a different logical answers, and all parents are different and they think differently. But when we speak about the game, it's a main thing that your user experience during first levels. For example, why I like Magic Sword so much? Because I was absolutely in flow. And if you felt once in your life this feeling, it's absolutely great. You lose the time. You're just inside the game and you play, and it goes so easy and smoothly that you forget about everything else. And it's a great experience. For example, if we will speak about strategy game, the feeling could be absolutely different. So I want to achieve, I want to collect, I want to beat the opponent. For example, if we will speak about like an example, Clash of Clans, and I play a lot and I spent a lot in this game. And my main spend was to train the troops and to go and try to steal as much as possible. And when they changed the system of matching, I start to understand that matching is so bad that I need to go through several players to find the real best in terms of value and spend. And I stopped playing. But in the same time, my friend who played the same game in the same time, he spent a lot of money to build, to create this great territory with all stuff in that, and he spent a lot of much more money than I did to create what he wants to create, to make sure that it will be great and very expensive. And for him, it was a status. For him, it was the proof that he earns a lot and he did a lot, and now he can afford what he wants to build, and it's absolutely amazing. So I think, how was the question? Sorry. How exactly you defined? We define the emotional needs. We all have main numbers of 12 main emotional needs, and depends on which need can be satisfied the most in that game, in the beginning of the game especially, we define one or another. So it could be different. If you want, you can write me in LinkedIn and we will discuss what exactly the needs are.
By the way, yes, that's a good point. Everyone, feel free to follow Oksana on LinkedIn, because the pieces that she shares are really deep and insightful. It's the page worth following. And the next question we have from Anne. It is, what is the connection between the theme plus difficulty curve? It's A/B testing to understand from the theme, or the theme is already fit for the audiences we're targeting and persona from them?
I think it's exactly the work for prototyping, because mainly if the game already alive, they know the theme and the difficulty curve. But before the game go worldwide, I saw some examples when they check many few main themes and levels, and they push this prototype and test them on the audience and look at the reaction and which theme and difficulty curve were much the best. So usually it's before the launch of the game, and they do through the prototyping, but I don't know how to do it through the A/B test on the bigger audience. I think it should be before you launch the game.
There is a way to do it. I've heard some studios make fake ads to
Yes.
test art styles or themes around the same game. You can just run fake ad campaign and see which converts better.
But these difficulty curves, how it connected with the difficulty curves?
No, the question is about the themes. So, well, at least you can test the theme without developing the game at all.
Yes, and also there is different games, and you can see which game with which theme, with which art style is more popular, and try to understand why and what will be better for you. It's also something that exists on the market, and studio do this a lot.
Mm-hmm. All right. The next question is from Nihil. How would the economy design, income and spend points also produce the spending opportunities? Like, if the income allows the user to pass through the first wall, then that breaks the context, right?
First of all, I think that if it's first wall, we definitely should give the users opportunity to pass it without paying, because he may not be ready to pay. And we know that some players pay from the beginning, but it's the less proportion of the audience. And we definitely should see the data, how much users earn, how much they spend, and when is the best moment to give them a spike that will monetize them better. And you can do it through understanding the number of the session and average number of the levels that users pass, and at what moment you start to lose the users, and why. Is it because you did this spike early, or it's because they don't feel that your game is give them the challenge that they want, or it's too difficult? So the question will be, you need to understand the game economy and how it works, and in the same time, if you see and experiment with this. So the context may be a good, but the moment of the spike and the moment is for the spike is right, but it's hard to predict where is the problem, or is there is any problem without the data.
Let me give you a simple example from Pixel Flow. When they introduced first hard level on level 36, you already played 35 levels, and you got 40 coins from each level, so it's a bit more like 1,200, just roughly. And when you lose first time, recovery cost 900. So you can pass through this point, pay these coins, but only once. You will not have enough next time. And if you will not manage to win this hard level from the second attempt, you will have no money. You will have to make a purchase. So it really depends on how lucky you are, because it's always random. It's to some extent, but the design is pretty clear. They allow you to recover from first fail because they gave you enough coins, but the second attempt will be tough.
That's a very valid observation. All right, next question. I think it's very general one, very big question, but let's try to give some tips. For Iman, any hints on how monetization triggers can negatively affect the retention? What are some big mistakes?
Exactly the one that Michael mentioned right now, because if you give them opportunity to pass the wall, and then they immediately hit the another one and they need to pay, they may not be ready at all. And make sure that your players had a lot of a good level of satisfaction from their game, to make sure that it will motivate them to pay. And the very great example in Magic Sword. So they pushed an event, and it was pass the levels without strike event, pass the levels without the break, and you compete with 100 of other players. And I was so engaged with the game that I should be first. I want to be first, and I pay to make sure that I will win each level, and I pass through whole event, and I earn my position. But when I get the revenue, I understand that I spent $7 and receive much more less than I expected. And if I just spend this $7 for the main currency, I could progress further and don't spend my time on the event that doesn't bring me the reward that I think and I feel that I deserve. So this is another example of the mistake. And after that, I never spent a cent for this event, and I ignore it completely. And I think the most users will do the same if they feel that it's unfair, that money doesn't cover the reward that they receive.
Also, another question from Iman. How many failed attempts levels would you say is too much and would lead to frustration and churn?
It depends on the state where the player in your game. For example, if we will speak about Magic Sword, I think that 3-4 attempts, it's more than enough, because as we spoke about earlier, it's a comfort zone. I don't need to go out for the comfort zone, and I don't need to spend many attempts to receive this feeling, because it starts to frustrate me and I lose this flow and I go away, and it's hurt retention heavily. So for example, there is another game, Gexa Sword, and I played heavily also in this game and I liked it very much, but I achieve a level when I cannot pass this level at all. So I tried maybe 15-20 times and I give up on the game. I like it very much, but the levels start to be harder and harder, and I wasn't even in the middle of the game. It was like level 60, level even maybe earlier, I don't remember right now. But I thought that I can progress in this game. I want to play this game. I like this game. But this game doesn't let me to stay in it by doing this, by giving some hard levels that I will not understand how to pass. And 20 attempts, it's too much for sure. So, and I saw one, I don't remember the right name. Just a second. Arrowscape game. You cannot buy anything there. You just need to look at the advertising, and I hate it. I'm like, give me a chance to pay. I just need to. It's an easy game. You just you have a lot of arrows, and you need to make sure that they pass without hitting anything. And I like it. I relax so much, and I'm ready to pay for relax. But the monetization is only through the advertising, and I hate it. So they lose me, not because the game is too hard, not because I don't like it. I like it a lot, but I cannot watch the advertising all the time, and I don't want to spend my life on that. And I prefer just to pay and play, but they didn't give me a chance. And this is also a great mistake, I think.
Yeah. And by the way, since we have like the whole game development community in our chat, we've got some benchmarks that answer this question as well from Dmitro Khalitsin, who is developing Match 3 and Match 2 games. So he gave the benchmarks like, he said 50 losses would be too much, 20-30 for hard level in Match 3, and 10-20 for hard level for Match 2. So this is the experience of Dmitro. Maybe it will be helpful for someone.
Thank you, Dmitro. And we need to understand exactly the type of the game and genre, because for Gibble casual, they are most likely, and we need today to do it less, like 10 maximum, because they not get used to that. And if we speak about the users who come just to spend, not just to spend, but to relax, it will be too much. It's give a pressure that they don't want to handle, and they go away, and you lose retention.
Mm-hmm. By the way, the time flew so quickly with such a nice conversation. So it's an hour since we started. Now we have two options. Option one, we continue Q&A and answer the last two questions. Option two, we can wrap it up and answer these questions on our Balancy LinkedIn page. By the way, don't forget to follow it. So Oksana, it's up to you to decide. If you're ready to continue, we can continue. Or we can answer later as possible.
Yeah, we can do whatever you want.
Well, it depends on how tired you are, how much time you have.
No, I don't know how much questions we still have.
There are still just two more questions.
Okay,
we can finish them quickly.
Yeah.
If you're not tired, if you don't have any other meetings or anything, we can continue.
We can continue.
Okay, perfect. So the question from Saul. What is your opinion on the monetization system used in gacha games? Is it very different from the systems you've worked with before?
The thing is that gacha games is more for strategy game and PG games, and you can find it more there. And my specialization mostly is hyper casual and casual games. But I think that gacha works well, and I have experience, and I worked with a few strategy games, and I think it's good for the monetization, and it's worked very good. And especially you can see, if we will speak about the Empire and Puzzles game, the gacha works there so good, and they create amazing system. And if you think about the gacha, go to this game and check it how it works there, because they have very high revenue for one player, and they attract not so much downloads, but the way how they monetize them, it's absolutely miracle. And I highly recommend to look at Empire and Puzzles. Puzzles and Survival also, they do it very well.
I may add here a bit. Historically, gacha mechanics attract whales mostly, because it's like infinite depth of monetization there, and whales usually don't play casual or hyper casual games. Whales love complex games, many mechanics, competitive, many ways to show off, to spend, and usually these games are all either mid-core or hardcore. So you will not meet like properly implemented gacha in any casual games.
But it's also when you buy the spin, and you can receive the prize. But it's easy gacha type for casual games that we can.
Yeah, we are talking about some Wheel of Fortune with 10 sectors, not the card pack with hundreds of cards. It's another level, completely another level.
And the last question for today from Alex Clark. What are your thoughts on rewarded ad implementations? Do they impact retention negatively? What about interstitials? How much does this differ from a hyper-casual game to a mid-core game?
Okay, so I think that rewarded ads works very well, especially if you implemented it in the best possible way and give your players a chance to use it or not. And it's not impact retention negatively if you don't give it too often, or the user doesn't have any other options than to watch 10 ads in a row because I saw my son playing the game and like, what are you doing? I hear only ads, and it was 10 ads in a row, and he wanted to receive this reward, and he watched like one another, and he spent 10 minutes on that, and I'm like, oh my god. So it could negatively impact the retention for sure. But if you do it in a smart way, it's improved the retention, because the users who doesn't want to pay and not ready to pay yet, they may use rewarded ads as a way to pass the hard levels. How much does it differ from hyper casual games to mid-core? It depends on the games and their. I know that many mid-core games they do some limitation on the amount of advertising the user can see, and it's usually a very low level, because the mid-core game players they monetized much more better than hyper casual games. So I think the players are different, and their willingness to pay are different for this the audience for hyper casual and mid-core, and we cannot compare them directly. It will be not right.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Oksana, for answering a lot of questions that we had today and for your insightful presentation. Thanks, Mike, and audience for the participation. You are so active today. Yeah, I think it's time to wrap up this meeting. And don't forget to follow Oksana LinkedIn page and also Balancy page. We post a lot of insightful materials there, some tips, some case studies, and we'll be glad if you go along into this LiveOps journey with us.
Thank you so much for your great energy and for your support. I'm very happy that we meet today, and it was a great pleasure to be with you today.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
You too. Bye bye, everybody. Till the next